अस्सलाम वालेकुम, वेलकम टू माय ऑफिशियल यूट्यूब चैनल। जैसा कि आपको मालूम है कि पाकिस्तान और इंग्लैंड की सीरीज़ स्टार्ट होने जा रही है, तो मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना किसी एक्स इंग्लिश प्लेयर के साथ इस सीरीज़ के बारे में बातचीत की जाए। मैंने इंग्लैंड के जो प्रोलिफिक ओपनर हैं मार्क बुचर, उनको रिक्वेस्ट की, तो उन्होंने काइंडली मुझे टाइम दिया और इस वक्त वो हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। तो आइए उनसे गुफ्तगू का आगाज़ करते हैं। हाय मार्क, हाउ यू डूइंग?
Yeah, very good, Amir. Good to see you and hear you.
Good to see you as well, mate, as always. Uh, Before I actually start talking about cricket, I just want to know that how was the transition from a prolific batsman to a rock star, songwriter, and a singer?
Well, it was relatively straightforward, Amir, because in both businesses you spend a lot of time hanging around waiting to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Especially the way I batted, you spend a lot of time waiting for your next innings, um, and a lot of travelling, and spend a lot of time in hotels. And it's no different from being a cricket player, really. And all of it's, there's a bit of performance involved. And the preparation and writing side of it is a bit like getting yourself ready for a test match. So it's something that I've always done. I mean, so I've done it since I was probably 12 years old, and the two things never really crossed over, the cricket and the music. But I would do either of them anyway. One doesn't depend on the other.
So, in a nutshell, there was no performance anxiety as far as being a singer is concerned because you were used to it, playing in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, well, actually, perhaps a bit more anxiety with the music, simply because it's not the thing that I've trained for all of my life, I suppose. It's very different sort of teaching yourself to play guitar in your bedroom than it is sort of picking up a bat age 2 or 3. But I'm kind of over that bit as well now. I mean, the TV is funnily enough, has been something that that sort of crosses over with all of them, really, because you're on live TV in front of the cameras and all that kind of stuff. There's a certain amount of pressure involved with speaking in front of cameras that there wasn't when you were batting. Say, you know what it was like. You walk out there with your helmet on. You didn't notice the crowd after a little while. It was kind of, you got into your own bubble, your own head. Whereas sort of performing in front of people, either musically or on television, particularly when you first start, can be quite nerve-wracking.
I've been following your second album, Now Playing. It's doing quite well. You must be very happy.
Yeah, really proud of it. Very proud of it. It's been 10 years since the first one, and so I had quite a lot of songs that were sort of ready to go when we started recording. One or two turned up during the process as well. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. There's some stuff there that's about topics that relate to current affairs, current events. And there's a lot of well, I would say this, but there's a lot of good stuff there.
We saw your physical fitness on the field while you were representing England, but quite impressed with your cerebral fitness, mate.
Well, okay. Well, we'll keep that between ourselves.
Okay.
I don't want to have to do any cognitive testing like a certain president to prove that I've still got my faculties.
Anyways, coming to the cricket. So, Mark, I'm going to come to cricketing question. How do you see Pakistan as an opponent as compared to West Indies?
Yeah, I think the Pakistan come over with a bigger reputation than the West Indies team did. Yes, in the bowling department, they always come over with a fancy, be no different. Terrible record against that left arm bowler. I'm sure he will bamboozle one or two. But it's in the batting, I think, really that they impressed me a lot more than the West Indies did. I mean, West Indies didn't have a single batsman averaging above 40 in Test match cricket, and Pakistan have got players, that have played in England before in Test matches. there's an enormous amount of Shah Massoud Azhar Ali, Babar Azam, of course, who played brilliantly for Somerset over here as West Indies did. In England's favour is that they've now had 3 Test matches to build themselves up for Pakistan's arrival. So it's unlikely that Pakistan will catch them cold in the first Test match the way that the West Indies did.
Okay. Talking about batting, you mentioned Pakistan has some seasoned campaigner in their batting lineup. Are you happy with the new talent English cricket has introduced?
Sibley and Burns at the top of the order. They're not young players per se, but they've scored and players on their ability and white ball stuff, and it hasn't worked out for them. They've gone for a couple of tried and tested traditional openers, and they seem to be coming good. Ollie Pope is an absolute superstar in the making. I mean, he has everything at the age of 22. And so yeah, there's some young players in there, some young batters in there who seem to have what it takes to bat long periods of time, put big scores on the board. But you know, they're still quite green. You know, Sibley has made 200s. He's only played 9 Test matches. Burns is only in his 17th Test match. Ollie Pope's only played a handful himself, 10 or 12 or something. And perhaps have more experience on their side in the batting lineup than England do, if you take Joe Root and Ben Stokes out of it.
Okay, and do you think Bairstow is going to make a comeback in this Pakistan series?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't think so. He at the moment is in the separate one-day international bubble. Josh Buttler is in the Test match bubble. There's no cricket for Bairstow to play to try and force his way in. Butler's struggled with the bat and he's under a little bit of pressure, but the team and the management have backed him to the hilt. He made 50 in his last innings against the West Indies. And so I presume that he will keep his place in the side, which means that Johnny Bairstow, gloves or no gloves, has got no way back in at the moment.
Oh, okay. Talking about the pitches, we have seen on the surface the pitches look quite dry, but the base of the pitches hasn't been firmed up as yet, and we have seen inconsistent bounce. What kind of pitches Pakistani team should expect in their series?
Well, it's difficult to tell because the weather's just been so ropey here. I mean, we had when everyone was in lockdown and there was no cricket, April, May, and the first part of June, it was beautiful. No rain, you know, hot weather. As soon as we hit July, it's done nothing but rain and barely got above 20 degrees the whole time. So, you know, the pitches have been a bit on the slow side. The one that they're playing on at the moment at Old Trafford looks to have a bit more pace and bounce in it, the sort of thing you'd expect from Old Trafford. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything too lively. We might see some spin. But having said that, the seamers, as they often are in England, are the key to winning Test matches. So do not be surprised if the likes of Anderson and Broad enjoy themselves, and that the Pakistan fast bowlers, you know, will need to be accurate. You know, will need to be able to come in and hit a line and length on a regular basis. It's probably not going to be bouncer Yorker reverse swing. It's going to be, you know, who can hit the top of off stump most often.
Waqar Younis was of the opinion that Pakistan should be looking to play 2 spinners. Do you think it's a good call after hearing what you said?
Yeah, I mean, if you can fit them into a team which has 3 high quality quicks and 2 spin bowlers, and still bat down to number 7, 8. I mean, we've seen in recent years that lower order runs have kind of been unbelievably handy in England, simply because top orders get blown away. You know, if the ball is moving around off the seam, you know, teams keep finding themselves 3 or 4 down before they've reached 100. And being able to bat deep has kind of been very helpful. As much as that, you know, as a traditional sort of Test match lover, the idea that you're picking bowlers to bat at 8 and 9 because they can score runs kind of is a bit of a weird one for me. But it's been very, very helpful that these guys can bat. I mean, that's why I mentioned Shadab, because obviously he's more than handy with the bat. And like I say, if Pakistan have got 3 quicks that they can rely on, and they can play 2 spinners without weakening the batting too heavily, then why not? I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Oh, okay. And talking about James Anderson, he has achieved so much. Do you think after this series he'll be hanging his boots, or is going to carry on?
I don't think so. I mean, he has the other people might be saying it's time for him to hang up his boots, but he just wants to keep going and going. You know, and all the while that you're playing against teams that England can bowl out in 50 or 60 overs, there's no reason for him not to, you know. So he thinks that he might be able to make it to the next away Ashes series. I mean, I find that utterly incredible if he did. But you know, who knows that what lockdown and the lack of cricket in these last 6 or 7 months might have done to him, Broad, and all the other sort of aging, creaking fast bowlers around the world. Suddenly they've had 6 months off that they never get, and it might just give them a little bit more time in their careers going forward when things return to normal. Who knows?
Correct. I know it's incredible to see him motivating himself time and again. Coming to Jofra Archer, tell me, is it just hype, or he has his wit?
I think there could be a little bit of that in it. I think he's unbelievably talented. I mean, it's not there are bowlers like him, particularly that are UK based. They don't come along very often. But I do think that the expectation on him is perhaps a little bit unrealistic. Again, he's played only a handful of Test matches, and was, you know, because of being a hero in the World Cup and holding his nerve in the Super Over and all that kind of stuff. He then gets thrown into a Test match series, and again bowls amazingly quickly and well in the first couple of Tests. But then, you know, the body started to give way on him a little bit. He just got tired, you know. And I think that I think that there are great things to come from him, but we shouldn't be surprised if the performances are up here, you know, up in the stratosphere one day and much less than that the next, you know. But I think that's what you get with young bowlers wherever they're from. But eventually, when he gets, you know, he gets a little bit more of an understanding of the rhythms and the trials of Test match cricket, he's going to be someone that will perform consistently and at a very, very high level. But he's not there yet. That's all.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's very exciting, and let's hope he develops well for the sake of cricket, because world cricket is missing really those kind of tear-away fast bowlers. Mate, thank you very much for time. I'm looking forward to this Pakistan and England series. It should be very exciting. But I'm very much impressed with you because one thing is not associated with men, multitasking. But you do it so well, mate. Thanks a lot, and keep multitasking. Well done.
Thank you, Aamir. Great to talk to you.
Thanks for your time, mate. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers, mate. ये थे मार्क बुचर जो बता रहे थे कि पाकिस्तान और इंग्लैंड की सीरीज़ कैसी होनी चाहिए, और उनके मुताबिक पाकिस्तान टीम जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा बैलेंस्ड है. उनके पास ऐसा टैलेंट मौजूद है कि जो इंग्लिश क्रिकेट टीम को सरप्राइज़ कर सकता है और इन कंडीशंस का फ़ायदा उठा के ये सीरीज़ जीत सकता है. तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आपने ये एपिसोड एंजॉय की होगी, और इस होप के साथ कि पाकिस्तान इस सीरीज़ में बहुत ही अच्छा करेगा, मैं आपसे इजाज़त चाहूँगा. खुदा हाफिज़.